Hi, everybody. My name is Ho Chong. Thank you for joining us tonight. Back in June 11, just before the Singapore progresses into the phase 2 of circuit breaker, I had the chance to actually talk in our inaugural TED Talk, the Entrepreneurship Talk, of sharing my perspective of Amway as a powerful business opportunity now and beyond COVID-19. So it has been like 6 months since then, and I thought personally that it's timely and aptly to provide an update to that entrepreneurship talk. So stay tuned and help us share this video as well to find out how everyone has progressed so far and how the Amway opportunity have also progressed as well. So help us to share this Facebook live streaming right now, and we promise that we will try our best to give you a very, very insightful perspective tonight. Thank you so much. Okay, all right. I know some of you may know me. Most people, of course, will know me, right? Yep. Okay, great. All right. Okay. Let me start now. Okay. All right. Good evening, everybody. Like I said, my name is Ho Chong. I remember 18 years ago when I first started my very first entrepreneurial venture, and it was with Amway Singapore. It was exactly the time when SARS hit Singapore. I don't know anybody know anything about SARS. I think most of us right now would be very knowledgeable about all this coronavirus. But when SARS first hit us 18 years ago, we're in shock. Nobody knows what was happening. All right. But one thing we are very sure right now is that compared to SARS, COVID-19 is definitely the epic, right? I'm sure nobody will dispute that. But honestly, when you were right in the middle of this, can I have that slide also? I want the slide now. Okay. You see, when you are right in the middle of a pandemic, a challenge is a challenge. During the situation of SARS, we also didn't know how long it will last, when the vaccine is going to come out, and then when I will be affected or infected. So the chaos is the same. The people are anxious. People are panicking. Companies are closing down. People are losing their jobs, and everyone is uncertain of the future. But one thing for sure, that did not stop us from trying to do something on our own, even though we cannot tell at that point of time which is bigger. So we are convinced right now that COVID-19 is definitely much, much bigger, much, much more spectacular than SARS. But the point is, the hope for a better future is always the same. Now that we have experienced the effect of COVID-19, I feel even more compelled and strongly that I want to be here to share with you again this Amway opportunity is available to you to start a business venture given the challenges that we are facing together right now. So, how big is COVID-19? I think everybody will have their own experiences, everybody will have their own perspective. But I know I always want to share this slide that I shown like 6 months ago in our first talk. This is the causeway in Woodlands. You know, who would have, before the COVID, everybody knows that, the causeway is always packed with cars. Every day, every minute, and then especially during the weekends, especially during the public holidays, everybody is dashing to JB for shopping, eating, and everything else, right? Who would have imagined that suddenly it becomes like a empty bridge? This is a sight that no one would actually forget. And honestly, no one, 20 years from now will ever forget what the year 2020 means. Correct? If you have any comments about that, I certainly welcome you to drop us a comment so that we can actually exchange some of our views. All right, and then Yeah, although now I know the causeway is already open in a very restricted ways, and then we are seeing some activities cross boundary activities, but still, yep, our border is still relatively close. And of course, we also talk about the Changi Airport. Who can actually forget Changi Airport, right? 6 months ago I showed this picture, and then we would never have thought that Changi Airport suddenly become a aeroplane port or aeroplane park. Right? No, nobody would have thought about that. And then 6 months on, and then what has Changi Airport become? Amazing. Sometimes you are so amazed with the creativity ideas that they have. You know, well, now we are a go kart. All right. Yeah, actually, I'm also helping to promote this activity a bit because until the end of this year, you can go to Changi Airport, Terminal 4, and you can have a go kart race with your whole family. And I think it should be pretty fun. But at the same time, if you think that go racing is not your cup of tea, well, you can try this. All right, camping at Changi Airport. Gosh, see, these are all things that we have never thought about. These are all things that we never knew was going to happen. But you see, given the situation, the severity of the pandemic, everybody is scratching their head and thinking, how can we survive and how can we actually do better? So this is what Changi Airport has become. All right, and then of course with airport, we have to talk about Singapore Airlines, isn't it? Right, and then like everybody else, Singapore Airlines is also very badly affected. I have some friends who are pilots, and then it's like 96% of their capacity is eliminated. So yeah, what are they doing right now with SIA? So you see, all the big aeroplanes like the A380. I wonder if you have actually had the chance to travel in one. I had the chance to travel in 2 times on the A380, and then it's really humongous. And with all these big vehicles parked in the Changi Airport, well, you know, we know that the best talent in Singapore runs the SIA, and then immediately they say, hey, why don't we turn the A380 into restaurants? And imagine, actually, it appeals a lot of people. You know why? Because so many people are so caught up, in Singapore that because they can't travel, so they say, well, might as well have a meal on one of the best aircraft, and then and have this feeling that you are actually traveling. So I'm sure somebody will have actually gone for this. Well, it's not cheap, Even for the economy class, a dinner is $50, and then if you book a suite, it's $600 per person. But still, some people say, well, it's still cheaper than going overseas. Let's have a try at a A380 suite. Gosh, anybody uh, have different opinions. But it was really snatched out within 30 minutes after it was launched. And then, well, we also by now know that Robinson has closed down. Yeah, yeah, months ago, this all these big retailers, were still surviving, and despite that, we already know sometime in June, in July, that the big four retailers in US is all gone under. And we are still quite proud that the Robinsons and the Metros, the OGs are still surviving. And then finally last month, Robinson is bowing out. Right, and then of course, yep. Right. What about the cases of oh, okay. Also, I also want to, maybe I should also at this point in time says, I think there's no way to describe how bad this COVID-19 is unless we talk about how much support that the Singapore government has provided to the entire nation. From the a single Singapore citizen, or even to our foreign workers, or even to big companies. They have done so much, and then nobody will ever think that the Singapore government would actually come out with with not a with four rescue package amounting to nearly Singapore.
Nearly $4 one million. That is how severe as far as I think this pandemic is, because we know how cautious and how prudent our government can be, and then despite it was very in the early stage, they have continuously come up with very strong measures to support the whole nation. And I think that speaks a lot about the pandemic, and also it speaks about
So much about the determination of our government to tie us all together. This, and of course, at this point, it's important that we update everybody right now. The worldwide. This number was taken only in this afternoon before while I was preparing the slides. Right now, the worldwide, we are looking at already nearly 68 million of affected cases. Wow, and then 1.5 million have died. And then, of course, also another 46.5 million has also recovered. That's why they say this is a pandemic of a century, because the last pandemic, which is in 1918, which is called the Spanish flu, also caused upheaval throughout the world. And I really don't know whether I want to tell this figure or not, because a quick check shows that the last time the pandemic in 1918, 200 million people was affected. And now we are looking at 67 million. So, well, I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not trying to create even more fear, but that is maybe at that time the medical sciences and technology is just not as advanced as right now. But still, we are still not out of the woods at the moment, even though we know that the vaccines are soon going to be available. We can talk about this on another day, but this is too big a topic to be discussed right now. So before I continue to make everything so gloomy, all right, and then can I turn back the screen to me first? Yeah, okay. Can I? Yeah, okay. Before I get too gloomy, tonight I also have two special guests to share their perspective with me, and then I also hope that we can share the load and then provide wider and more different, more varied perspective with regards to how this Amway business opportunity can be heard. And so I'd like to introduce first Jasmine Lee. All right, can you help me to say hello to me?
Hello everyone, I'm Jasmine and I'm 29 this year. I've actually graduated from the Nanyang Technological University, specializing in material science and engineering. And currently I am working in a local small medium enterprise. So I chanced upon the Amway business when I was still studying for my bachelor degree. And at that time, I wasn't 100% sure of the career path that I really wanted to pursue. And to be very honest, at that time, I was only very concerned in getting a decent job and being an employee. Until then, when I chanced upon ArcDocs 1969, where I was inducted into this environment and managed to learn about Amway as an entrepreneurial opportunity. And it opened up my perspective that I can actually choose to be my own boss and earn an alternative income using this platform. So I'll now pass on to my business partner and co-speaker for tonight, Natalie, to introduce herself as well.
Microphone. Sorry， 不好意思，大家好，不好意思，我转来 Channel A， 我是赵娜，来自中国，是叫河北的一个城市，讲 ，Can you hear me? Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Jasmine. All right, before we which is the other co-speaker tonight. All right, and we have a bit of problem with my camera. All right, so maybe I can just also talk about one other issue before we pass on to Natalie. Is that okay? All right. Anyway, Jasmine said that she graduated from National Technological University of Singapore, right? NTU, yeah. Okay, anyway, I also want to tell her that I graduated with a business degree from NUS. but we are like years apart. Okay. So anyway, all right. Let me see. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, I need the slide. Thank you. Okay. Initially, in the beginning of this COVID-19, a lot of people was actually thinking that well, it shouldn't be too long before it was over, right? And then never did we know that suddenly that we are already the 2020 year is almost ending, and then now we're still not really even sure when this thing is going to be over. And then one of the things that we heard a lot initially during especially the circuit breaker is that when can this whole thing be over, and then so that we can be going back to normal. And then soon after, we also hear a lot of people talking about this thing called a new normal. You always hear this thing say, oh, a new normal, a new normal. No go back to normal anymore. It's a new normal. In fact, one of my friend who is now stationed in Hong Kong, he asked me, he said, so what is a new normal? you know, really, what is normal and what is a new normal? Actually, I want to talk about this very simple concept. Before, when I got married, I also thought that my life is going to be the same like my bachelor life. But I also realized soon after I got married that no, I have to face a new normal because I'm no longer a bachelor. Just when I thought that everything is coming to become normal, and then my wife said that she's getting pregnant. And then when my son Ethan was born, I realized that I have to face another new normal. And then when finally I thought everything is again settling to be a normal pace, my wife said, I'm pregnant again. And then now I have a daughter, and then again I have to face another new normal. I guess you see, really life is full of surprises. And then my take on this new normal is that expectation have to change, because it's like you are going for a journey, you're going for a tour, and you thought that you're going to take a bus, you're going to take a train, you're going to take a plane, and then you go reach the destination very smoothly, and yet a lot of things happens along the way. So I guess we just have to accept that well, this COVID-19 came as a big surprise, and then we are all not very, very ready for it. But I'm sure that we're all settling in fine. And the most important is that how do we keep ourselves, our loved ones, and our family safe during this period. And at the same time, we have to stay vigilant and continue to adapt very, very, to a large extent in how we carry on our daily lives. So we have all actually experienced a lot of these changes as we speak about. Before that, hardly even wear face masks, right? But right now, everywhere you go, it's about face masks, right? And then 6 months ago, when we talked about in our first TED Talk, we even mentioned that sooner or later, maybe going to see a lot of designer face masks. But I have seen a lot of designs right now on the street. Okay, they are not all exactly the usual disposable type, or even the one that is issued by our government or Temasek group. All right, and then you see, they are so nice. We are getting our third free mask from Temasek again. And then what is interesting is that I realized that there are a lot of new accessories like this, where you can keep your mask, right? Or I recently also have a new accessory. I can hang my mask right now here. These are all the things that you see. In fact, sometimes you are finding the joy to actually, hey, I can use this for my mask. You are actually buying things for a mask already, right? So, well, this is new. This is not that something that we wanted to do initially, but well, come on, we can all adapt nicely, isn't it? And what about the check-in, check-out? Gosh, I mean, we talk about that. Nobody likes to check in, check out, especially this feels like going to the office when you have to clock in and clock out. But really, initially it's such a hassle, and then it's really quite frustrating, because at one time when you go into a shopping mall, you realize that, wow, the shopping mall main door must check in. You go inside the shop, also must check in. Every time check in, check out, check in, check out. My God. Well, I cannot tell you that this thing is going to go away because this is all for the safety of everyone in Singapore. And I think the result is showing that, at least our local community cases is now being very, very controllable and very low numbers. All right. And then, but one tip I can give you right now is that download the SingPass app. Using the SingPass app, you can actually do a lot of check-in, check-out very, very fast. All right. Okay. Try that. Serious. Okay. And then, dining out. Okay. Everybody wants to dine out. But really, I think this dining out experience, we know previously we can't even go to restaurants, and suddenly going into circuit breaker phase 2, we are allowed to go out for dining in 5, not more than 5. And actually, I should call it a blessing, and then we are very grateful because we have been cooping up at home and eating at home for so long. And then eventually, when we are able to go out and have a dining experience that we have been looking forward to, wow, everybody chiong, everybody try to go out, and then but it's still in the party of 5. And for myself, one just little complaint is that my mom's birthday recently, and then I want to go out with my parents and my family of 4. So adding to my parents, it will be 6, right? Then we realize that we can't go anywhere. And then some restaurants are so strict right now because you tell them we have 6 people, can break 3 and 3 or not? Then they say no, because I now know that you are same family. So it's like my wife to call first, then I call the second time, then we tell her I want to book a table of 3, and she also said she wants a table of 3. But I know these are all the inconveniences. But the point is, actually, I heard a rumor, we are supposed to go into circuit breaker phase 3 already because we continuously record 0 cases in Singapore for 15 days. Then suddenly, somebody go and eat Korean barbecue. Together, like, don't know, a party of 12 or 20, I can't remember. Then suddenly, now we are back to square one again. So it means that we still have to be very careful. We still have to be vigilant. We still have to care for everybody, please. All right, until it's become clear that the situation is much in better control. We cannot actually afford to be careless at all. So dining in, dining out, is fine. Yep, it's still cool. All right, but still, please must don't play punk, okay? All right, movies. All right. I don't know if one of you. Sorry, did I miss anything out? Yeah, okay. I'm supposed to pass it to Jasmine, isn't it? Yeah, okay, Jasmine.
Yeah, because I'm quite sure that there are so many options nowadays. I mean, Simon Ho-Chun just shared about the inconveniences that he faced when dining outdoors. And definitely nowadays, there are actually much more options to dine indoors, as nowadays many different restaurants, even the Michelin star restaurants, even offer food delivery right to your doorstep. And like what Simon Ho-Chun mentioned just now, the SIA, it was almost unthinkable that the SIA will even provide home delivery of SIA first and business class meals. Even in the pre-COVID days, how would you have ever imagined that you can actually enjoy SIA first class and business class meals at home, right? So, but yet now we are seeing all of this actually starts to unfold and starts happening now. And and also not only that, right? Like the restaurant at restaurant A380, right? Whereby it just converts the A380 into a pop-up restaurant, and you can just go in, you can choose the class you want, and then you can watch a movie while you are dining. So you can imagine that all this were very much unthinkable, unimaginable right before the COVID days. So you see, this COVID pandemic actually, after all, is not all that bad after all, because it pushes many businesses to change their conventional business model. And as young people like all of us out here, this is also the time to be able to ride along with the tide and explore new opportunities as well.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Jasmine. All right. Yeah. Actually, so many changes has happened. I mean, we are just trying to highlight to you, all these changes that are happening and how we are actually coping in a very, very wonderful way, right? And then I want to talk about the movie experience right now. Okay, and then yeah, how many of you have actually watched movie lately after the circuit breaker or things like that? One of the most one of the movies I really look forward to is Wonder Woman 1984. But it has been postponed and postponed and postponed and postponed. I think if I'm not wrong, it should be coming out in this month. Yeah, but you see, movie is never going to be the same anymore because as far as I know right now, all the movie theaters only can take up to 50 people maximum. And then even then, when you book the cinemas, all the seats are what correct. You cannot sit next to each other. There's always a few seats that have to be blocked off to make sure that it's always a social distancing. Yeah, but actually, it's not even just the cinema that's affected. I tell you honestly, because I realized that even the Netflix also got no new movies there. I also realized that the HBO also got no new movies there. So even when I watch Netflix at home or I watch HBO at home, I cannot see them, updating with some of the newer movies, and then they show all the old movies to a point that I realize that even Mediacorp Phua Chu Kang is also there. God, this is unimaginable, Finally, we see Mediacorp Phua Chu Kang, we see Mediacorp 双天至尊 also on Netflix. Wow, this is quite bring back a lot of childhood memories, man. Or for some people, nightmares. I don't know. Yeah, you see, this is yeah. So yeah. This is happening. I mean, I also subscribe to iTunes on my Apple phone a lot, and then I also realize that every time I refresh, but I don't see any new movies. Oh, this is really affecting everybody. From individual to right up to the big companies. Like all these glamorous stars and things like that. And yep, okay. Well, WFH, huh? Not WTTF. Work from home. Okay. My point is that I think everybody is already very used to this work from home. And the key point is there's no sign showing that it's slowing down. Because right now, even as we are in COVID circuit breakers phase 2, the companies are allowed to operate, but they still are on like 50% capacity. So it's like not everybody can go back at the same time, and then still a lot of people are stuck at home working. I think what it means is that whatever we shared 6 months ago about what Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg say is showing that is likely going to be happening, in a very, very real way, meaning that the companies will continue to look at work from home as a permanent measures. All right, and then what it actually means that companies are also able to employ or even look into their human resource policy as to I do not have to actually employ someone who is actually in my city. You know what I mean? I can have my employees all over the world, because right now, all the Zoom, all the teleconferencing technologies and apps are becoming so powerful and mature. So, and that actually will affect our livelihood, your employment, one way or another, if this work from home concept is not going to go away. And I think this is something that we need to be mindful of. Working at home does not mean work like holiday, but working from home forever means that anybody can be even easily replaceable. What do you think, Natalie?
Yes， 我非常的赞同。当然，在我讲这个问题之前呢，我一定要先自我介绍。所以看直播的你，你好，
She's supposed to introduce herself first.
Yeah， 我叫赵娜。Natalie 赵娜，我是来自中国叫河北的一个城市。那我今年35岁，有点不想讲。那讲到这里，其实我是08年大学毕业就来到新加坡了，其实非常的机缘巧合，因为朋友的一句话问我你要不要去新加坡，然后我就来了。 然后一晃就10多年过去了，哇，真的很可怕。那我目前呢是在一间 MNC 的物流公司上班，是一名行政文员。其实我父母讲一点我的 background， 其实我的父母是小贩，就是卖菜呀、卖水果呀，是自己做小生意的，所以他们的生活非常非常的辛苦。我从小到大，他们从来没有告诉过我要创业，要自己做生意，因为他们自己非常的有感觉，太辛苦了。所以我从小到大，父母告诉我的就是你一定要好好读书，然后长大之后要找一份好的工作，然后当然就会有好的生活。我也一直是这样认为的，但直到我毕业之后，参加了工作，我才发现和想的完全不一样。所谓工字不出头，而且我工作时间越久，我发现离我想要的生活越来越远。我以为我毕业之后我就可以经济非常自由，我可以买我想要的，我可以过我想要的生活，但是非常意外，就和我想要的生活越来越远。但是纠结了一段时间，也只是有想法没有办法。我不知道怎样才可以脱离我每天朝9晚5上班的那种生活。直到我听到何昌老师说过的一句话，也是很有偶然的机会，我来到 Asphere， 然后听到何昌老师在台上分享，他就讲到挑水和挖井的不同。他说，其实我们每天上班朝9晚5是在挑水，是为了满足每天的日常生活，但是我们有没有想过，为了我自己的未来去挖一口井？哇，忽然间我豁然开朗。对呀，我既然那个生活不是我想要的，那我为什么不为自己去挖那口井呢？所以真的讲到这里，当然还是说，到底我们想要的是朝9晚5的生活，是有想创业的概念，还是真的想要脱离我们每天很规律的那种生活？所以这才是很重要的一点。这也是为什么我非常相信说，只有创业才离我想要的生活越来越近。当然讲到这里呢，我就刚刚何昌老师不也是讲到，他说因为现在疫情的原因，然后很多公司都是在线上。然后当然我非常的有体会，是什么呢？因为我在10月份，就是前2个月，我们整个部门就关掉了。这个关掉的原因呢，就是以前我们有4个，就是全球嘛，因为 MNC 它是全球的，可能欧洲有一个部门，亚洲有一个部门，非洲有一个部门，它是 call center， 它可以互相的沟通。但是因为疫情，当然最重要的，公司还是为了 cut cost 节省成本嘛，所以就关掉了亚洲区的整个部门。所以真的是所谓的意外和明天，不知道哪个先来。而且最重要的是，我9月刚从中国回来新加坡，然后10月工作2个星期，然后就被告知这个部门要关掉了。当然我现在是还有工作了，但是目前的工作也真的就像刚刚我们何昌老师讲到的，因为很多的会议我们都是线上的，所以每天我们参加的会议，现在当然有回去上班也是非常少的人，我们每天开会也是来自全球不同的地方，有亚洲的，有美国的，有欧洲的。所以说这样的一个疫情真的让我看到整个工作环境都已经不一样了。所以说我就对这个问题觉得非常非常的有感觉。当然说这样的疫情，难道是所有的竞争机会，所有的就业都会被影响吗？当然在我把棒子交还给何昌老师之前呢，我一定要告诉大家，你可以通过我们屏幕，你可以看到看直播的，你看到屏幕右上角有一个问号的小图标你可以来互动或者是你当然也可以在我们整个会议过程中有什么问题，也可以给我们留言，我们将在适当的情况下回答你。那好，我就把棒子交回给何昌老师。
Okay, thank you, Natalie. We are having some technical issues, but I hope you at least understand that what Natalie was trying to tell you is very real, because all this work from home concept is really changing the face of employment altogether, and then whether you like it or not, it's happening, and we have to be prepared for that. You know, I've actually shared with Jasmine and Natalie that COVID-19 is really I need my slides. Yep. Thank you. All right. I've shared with Jasmine and Natalie that COVID-19 is really unprecedented, which is called pandemic of a century. So what it means is that your parents have never seen this before, and your grandparents probably never seen it. Your teachers will never have seen it. Your bosses never have seen it, and even the top political leaders have also never seen this before. So no one has any answers to all the problem right now. And in fact, our Prime Minister Mr. Lee Hsien Loong says that this is the crisis of our generation. Really, it's the crisis of our generation. Beyond the public health impact, COVID-19 had become a serious economic, social, and political problem. And economically speaking, tectonic shifts are taking places in the global economy and impacting Singapore in general. So there is no playbook to refer to, really. The crisis has challenged and actually disintegrated bulk of the rules that we have known for a very, very long time. And therefore, we actually have to write our own playbook as we go along. I believe this is really a reshuffling of a new order, but it also presents a blank space for anyone and everyone to try out whatever you thought was impossible before. So if you have lost your job at 40 years old, what is stopping you from trying something right now? And that applies to somebody who is just stepping out of the school and joining the workforce. What is stopping you from trying a different path altogether other than the usual employment, which is proving to be so difficult right now? So just like what Jasmine has said about home-based delivery, it is all about how we adapting to the situation. All right. And then I want to also share with you what the Charles Darwin has always said. The survival of a species is actually always about whether you are the most adaptable to change and not necessarily the ones that is the strongest or the most intelligent. So we have to be talking about the ability to adapt, and that will prove to be some of the key fundamentals that we have to remember in order to tie us over during this crisis. And I also want to, at this point, share with you some of this adaptation that is already taking places. When I first showed these slides back in the June, and then everybody said, what drive-in movies? And then I said, oh, when I was growing up, we have this drive-in movie. They said, oh, you're so old. But I said, wow, you never knew what drive-in movies are all about. And it's unimaginable that, so many people just doesn't understand what is drive-in movies. And voila, what happened? Right now, right in Singapore, drive to downtown east. They are also doing drive-in movies. I think you should try it because it should end also the end of this year. I think you can check out their website. Maybe you should just go and try a very different kind of movie experience. All right, what about the Michelin stars? Actually, in the beginning of the circuit breaker and things like that, a lot of the restaurants are affected because they can't accept people to dine in, and then they can only do takeouts or deliveries. So even the Michelin star restaurants have to change and start to do delivery. But unfortunately, I also did some research about it because now that 6 months has passed, so how are these Michelin star restaurant doing? And it's such a scarce when I found out somewhere in the internet that nearly 80% of the Michelin star restaurants worldwide has closed because of COVID-19. Honestly, dining at at Michelin star restaurant is obviously a very different kind of experience from dining with McDonald's, right? No, I'm sure the food will taste as good if it was delivered to my house. But the whole dining experience in a Michelin star restaurant just cannot be replicated in my own house. Imagine you you ordered a Michelin star restaurant and then you eat in 3-room flat. No, I'm just trying to show you contrast the effect. So eventually, the takeout rate may not be as high, and therefore the loss of business, the revenue is not enough to cover their costs. And really, you'll be surprised that even Michelin star restaurants has closed down up to 80%. And this is really not something that we all expected. So I think changes are necessary. Adaptation is necessary, and it's actually not new. I want to bring this up again. It's like, in the turn of the century, we saw the rise of the internet, and also there are so many companies who have failed because they are unable to adapt to the internet. But on the other hand, the same situation, there are others who have flourished because of internet. So don't blame the technology, don't blame the situation. Rather, how adaptable we are is really the key of everything. Jasmine, what do you think?
Yeah, because like for in the case of like Nokia in perspective, where they actually did overestimate their strength in their hardware and didn't grasp the concept of software fast enough, such that for better user experience in their mobile phones, and then they will realize that they were actually too late in the game to actually compete with their competitors. Like also in the case of Kodak, where there is one time being the world's biggest film company, they could not keep up with the digital revolution because at that time they were actually very hesitant to do so. They feared that it will actually cannibalize on what they are actually strong in doing at that juncture. So being at that time the leader of design, production and marketing of photographic equipment, and they had actually a lot of opportunities at that time to steer the company into the right direction, to ride along with the tides. But because of its hesitation to fully embrace the transition to digital has led to its demise. So I believe that you have also seen that there's been a recent uprise of live streaming of sales of product, not be on Facebook or be even on e-commerce platform like Taobao. So particularly in the case of Taobao, I was actually very surprised when I happened to chance upon this new Chinese variety show called Ghost Streamers. And this Chinese variety show is very interesting is because it featured actually 25 mainland Chinese female celebrities, okay, for diverse experience. Some of them might have been in the showbiz business for more than 20 and 30 years, and their age can vary from 20 plus to around 60 plus. And they actually challenge themselves beyond their usual scope of work by actually learning from scratch, step by step, how to effectively to become a bona fide live streamer, to sell products on Taobao. Yeah, so you can imagine, you see, it's no longer about what you used to do and doing only things that we are good at, but rather it is about learning and also adapting constantly according to how the world is changing around us.
Yes, 我真的非常赞同 Jasmine 的分享，因为真的是因为现在大环境在变。其实我想补充一点的就是，不仅是说很多的公司在改变他们的经营模式，来适应新的环境，然后来求生存。那讲到公司呢，其实我们更应该想到我们个人其实也是应该改变来适应这个新的环境的。就像我刚刚提到的，我在10月被裁，被裁呢，那就意味着我失去了这份工作，我需要重新找一份工作。那别忘了，换一份工作其实就相当于是一个新的开始。换了一份工作，我找到的新工作的工作范围是不一样的。像我现在很多的东西都要重新学习，然后如果换公司，那么它的文化也是不一样的，它的整个人际关系都是不一样的。所以我真的深有体会，我换一份工作就相当于我以前的努力就抹杀了，然后我要重新从零开始，我要重新去适应每一步，然后我要重新去调整我自己的时间呐，我自己的能力，真的要调整非常非常的多去适应学习。当然讲到这里呢，我们其实也是想到说，我现在可能说如果我想学习还可能，那如果我40、50岁的时候呢，如果我50岁我失去了一个工作，然后公司说不好意思，然后我们部门关了，或者说你不适应了，那怎么办？难道我还有没有另外一份能力去让我重新开始生活？ 我觉得现在真的是这个问题敲到了我，我真的觉得我不是说在满意我目前的一个工作，我每天只要说我认真的工作，我朝9晚5，我就可以退休。其实现在大家，我相信看直播的你也知道了，已经不是那样的时代了。即使你想工作，真的不知道公司还能存活多久。所以这是没有办法，我们真的都在面临的一个问题。所以我就想起何成老师曾经说过，他说顺境的时候一定要找出路，我们逆境才能有退路。所以一定要在我们还有工作，甚至说平时还能生活的时候，要找一个备胎，给自己在情急的时候还能有退路。当然刚刚的 Jasmine 也讲到直播，然后他也是刚刚讲到说现在很多的 online 他们的模式都在变。其实现在直播真的是一个新的趋势，然后我相信很少的人没有在线上购物过吧应该非常非常的少。其实线上购物，因为我刚从中国回来，因为疫情期间，我最大的感受就是我每天只做2件事，除了睡觉吃饭了，然后就是买东西和拿包裹就是线上找，然后呢每天就接包裹，然后就打开，然后就哇，真的每天足不出户，然后我就可以买到我所想要的任何东西。这就是现在的生活，现在我们每个人都在去适应的一种改变。所以说，当然我个人来讲，刚刚我也是提到，我们顺境的时候一定要找出路。所以我最近当然有看直播的也知道，我们也在做直播。当然这也是真的非常感谢我们何常老师给的想法，就是我们真的不是在看眼前，我们看的是更长远，我们要适应的是3、5年后，甚至是10年、20年后。当然呢，我就先讲到这里，我把时间交回给何常老师。
Naturally, and thank you, Jasmine. I need my slide again, so sorry about it. All right. Okay. All right. I think based on what they shared, in a nutshell, what we are saying is that in every crisis, there are always those who fall, but at the same time, there'll be people who rise. So the ones who rose are simply those who adapted better. That's all. So stop blaming COVID-19 for the loss of your job. Stop blaming COVID-19 for the failure in the business. In fact, I always think that I would like to give you this analogy. I keep thinking that COVID-19 is like the emperor's new clothes. I really want to share this with everybody. It's like if you know this tale by Hans Christian Andersen. All right. I'm a bit surprised because some of the younger people that I talk to, they say they have never heard about this fairy tale. But this is something that you can Google about, which I'm not going to spend time talking about it. But the point is that, prior to the COVID, everybody has been talking about how powerful a company is. Everybody is talking about how glamorous a company is. Everybody is talking about, how multi-dimensional a company can be, because they are like in everywhere. And yet, when the COVID comes, a lot of them has failed, has collapsed, has gone under, or even bow out. It's like COVID really is like the emperor's new clothes, because it exposes the weaknesses in all the companies, and then really show that they could be very weak to start with fundamentally. And it's very clear that this company has failed because the COVID has stopped almost 95% of the revenue source in almost every industry and trade. And without the money coming in, and then they really, they cannot survive. They cannot tie over. They just do not have enough financial power to tie them over the crisis. And some of them couldn't even last. Surprise for a lot of people, because prior to the COVID, everything was looking fine. And when COVID comes, really like the emperor's new clothes and exposing everybody's weakness. So I think instead of blaming COVID, you should really reflect upon what could be done better to change and to adapt. And then at this point of time, I believe, and I would really want to share with everybody out there, that Amway can be that change opportunity and option for you. It was for me 18 years ago, and so it can be for you too. if you have the willingness to adapt. And therefore, if you just join us, all right, thank you so much. If you like what you have saw so far, please help us to share. But we are just talking about the impact of COVID-19 and how we can deal with this by starting your very own Amway business opportunity. All right, I have spent 18 years of my prime building an Amway business since the SARS period. In my opinion, Amway is a very legitimate and viable business venture because it has three key elements. And this is what I want to show you right now. The number one is product. All right. I have good products developed and provided by Amway to offer to my customers. They are not bogus products. They are physical, real products. Just like, for example, we launched the latest product recently, which is a collagen peptide, which is like we have sold in 2 months, almost 6 months of our stocks. And that's how good the products can be. And they are relevant to the market requirements. I build and expand my customer base, all right, with these products using the Amway's online and offline infrastructure. All right. Not only we have a very powerful e-commerce website which we just launched. All right. We also have a physical shop right in the middle of the city, just next to Raffles Hotel. And then at the same time, we have all the logistical support that we can to help us support all our businesses. So I continue to sustain this business with my high service level, assisted by all the functional resources provided by Amway, be it the marketing, the logistic, or finance. So lastly, I believe that to be successful in any entrepreneurial venture, all you need is perseverance and hard work. Okay, so what do you think, Jasmine?
Yeah, well, I concur with you that any businesses will require our own perseverance and also hard work. But I also believe that many of our friends and our peers will start to ponder why should we actually start and run an Amway business when there are so many different business ventures that is available in the market then?
Question. I'm going to answer to that. All right. Why should anybody wants to run an Amway business? All right. I think at this moment, the biggest challenge of any responsible government amidst this COVID-19 lies between saving lives and saving livelihood. Okay. So in order to save lives, most governments have resorted to halting a lot of the social and economic activities, and thus livelihood in general are seriously affected, which we actually have experienced already. So in fact, 95% of the global business and economic activities have virtually ground to a halt, and many bow out, unfortunately. But still, you have to remember that there are some 5% of the businesses being active and even prospering. And these are now some things we are all familiar already, and we always like to call it the essential services. Right, proud to that nobody cares about essential services, but now we all know essential services is so important. So Amway is an essential business of nature that has been running perpetually since the circuit breaker period, and not only in Singapore. Take a look at our range of essential products. Okay. Yes, I know they are not especially sexy, not so exciting, not so creative, not so glamorous, but they are essentially needed by everyone every day. I always like to say, don't ever think that I like to sell detergent powder. I sell detergent powder only because people are still wearing and washing their clothes. Right, isn't it? All right. So companies who have failed during this period, despite their past glory, generally face one problem: cash flow. Remember the Emperor's New Clothes where I talked about? It exposed their weaknesses because their sales did not come in. All right. But they have overheads to pay. And therefore, because if their financial strength is not stable enough, they fail. And it only means that if their income is jeopardized or even cut out, this company will fail. And that is applying to those non-essential company. But whereas for an essential company, even with circuit breaker, even with COVID, sales continues to grow. And that is something that we are always very thankful about, especially for myself, who have been doing this business for the last 18 years. Think about it. Yes, we know that the vaccine is coming out, but really, if this continue to drag on for another 6 more months, another 1 more year, would your company survive this? Because of, reduced revenue, but overheads is still going on. So, I think it's good that we think about it. All right, what do you think, Jasmine?
Yeah. I also couldn't agree more that being in the business of essential services is vital for our sustainability, because I think some of us might also be wondering, it's like what Diamond has described, is that does Amway only just manufactures household home care products like shower gel and detergent only? In fact, actually Amway is more than just that. It also has skincare and makeup line, artistry, and with or without COVID, I believe all of us continue to wash our face still, right? So this is why I feel that it's worthwhile to build a business using the Amway platform, so that I at least can have a chance to build my own beauty business, and on top of all other essential products that Amway actually does offer to us. And I also do believe, Natalie, you're also working to build a health business through the Amway platform, right?
Yes，当然我们讲到说做生意，我要提到一点，就是我们做生意一定要接受一点，就是不管你做什么，一定是需要提供一些产品或者是服务，这是必不可少的。那当然，刚才Jasmine也说过，说我是有从事说营养补充方面的一些就是学一些知识啊，然后自己保健。当然这些我相信通过这次疫情，一定会有越来越多的人对健康更加的在意，因为这次大家都意识到了什么才是王道，健康才是王道。以前我们都说你银行有再多的零，如果没有健康前面那个一，一切都是白劳的。然后真的是健康就是财富。那讲到健康，是不是每一个人都知道健康重要，但并不一定每一个人他都知道怎样才能保持健康，提高免疫力。所以你想，这一定是一个非常大非常大的市场，因为每一个人都需要，所以我们叫它民生必须。那讲到这里呢，其实我个人也是，我们自己嘛，讲到民生必须，吃的就一定少不了。那讲到营养补充，我们日常生活如果是真的说提到健康，我想健康，但是呢，我又苦于工作生活太过繁忙，我没有办法照顾，那么营养补充品一定就是每一个人接下来将要必须的生活必需品。那讲到生活必需品呢，当然我个人是一定需要的，因为我每天早晨营养早餐一定是我生活的一部分，因为我知道营养在我的早餐的成分占有多少，所以这也是我个人非常非常在乎的。当然一切我相信还是要有知识作为基础。当然我讲到说吃的当然很重要，营养补充品那它的质量就非常非常的重要，我一定要吃的安全，吃的健康，吃的放心，而且我还要吃的长久，这样的话我才能活得健康，活得更久。因为我们都说我们不要说带病离去，我们就是要优雅的老去，所以我相信这也是接下来每一个人的愿望。当然我个人除了健康是每个人必须的，我相信营养补充方面还有一个市场，就是每个人现在都知道的，那就是减重。其实不一定是减重，就是塑身塑形。我觉得因为我们要健康，不仅仅是说形体，我们还要说怎样才能保证说吃的，然后而且是我学了知识我才知道其实是看不出的，你知道吗？如果你在看直播，你觉得你看起来不是很肥胖，那不代表你的体脂肪就不高，当然有非常非常多的知识。所以我真的我意识到健康这块绝对是一个必须的。所以当然呢，讲到这么多，还有我个人的非常多的体会，如果是你也感兴趣，你觉得它是必须的，当然我们阿斯菲尔还有平台，你一定要锁定我们的 TBFS 现在的 Change Your Body。 所以呢我就先分享到这里，我把时间交回给何成老师。
So I think, right, from all the sharing that we have about Amway business, our understanding about the Amway business, right, I'm sure all of us will understand that Amway is undoubtedly an essential business. So actually, I would like to ask Diamond Ho-Chang, after 18 years in this business, right, what additional edge do you think Amway can still offer us as an essential business in contrast with all other business opportunity out there in the market?
Okay, I think okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, Jasmine. All right, can I have my slide back? Yeah, go. All right, no, the slide, not Jasmine back. Yeah, okay. Gosh, this is getting very, very, very exciting. All right. Okay, Jasmine asked, what other edge can Amway offer other being an essential business nature? And I'd like to share with you this very first unique feature called the riskless entrepreneurship. You know, the common understanding is that high risk, high return, right? Low risk, low return, right? No risk, no return, right? You see, this is the common understanding. So it will be very difficult to understand that, you know, all you need to start an Amway business is but a mere $30 Singapore dollars, you know. How to start a business with $30 Singapore dollars, you know, and then yet be able to generate a very good return. So difficult to comprehend altogether. But you know, this is exactly where the magic begins, because when I started this business 18 years ago, right in the middle of the SARS period, you know, I was able to do this business purely only because there was no capital outlay. Can you imagine when everything is so unsure, everything is so gloomy and so you know, so unpredictable? Why would you want to put like $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 into a business that you don't even know whether you will make it or not? So when the opportunity came, I realized that all I need was a mere $30. I said, voila, this is something I can afford to try because it is a riskless business to me. So this is exactly why I took the plunge, and I said that, hey, I got nothing to lose, because if I fail, well, the worst is I just go back to my job, isn't it? But if I succeed, the rest is history, isn't it? So many of you will be surprised to know that this business has no capital outlay, but it is the real truth, right? And given the current situation, it certainly makes sense to try something new, but with extremely low risk. Okay, Jasmine, how do you like this answer?
Yes, definitely. This is really interesting, Darren Ho, because 18 years ago, when you started out, wanted to join this business, there was no capital outlay. Years later, I joined because of the exact same reason as well. No capital outlay. This is especially important for me because when I joined the business, I was really young and I don't have any capital to start my own business to begin with. So certainly, no capital outlay is definitely the biggest reason that drew me into this business, into this platform. You see, be it 18 years ago or now, with COVID or not, capital has always been a greatest issue when it comes to being your own entrepreneur or starting out your own business. And it was exceptionally important because at 24 years old, right, there's totally no way that I can gain any kinds of savings or any way that I can set up a business on my own at all. So doing this doing a conventional business right now, especially during this COVID, in the midst of COVID-19, is apparently a very challenging and a very risky venture. And can you imagine, right, if you are a boss of a local SME now, everything in your business every day can easily set you on tenterhooks. Like hike in the freight cost, you have no control over it. You even if there's a growing inventory cost, just because your customer tell you that I don't want to start my project so early, and then you realize that your sales keep coming in very, very slowly. All this, you have no control over it. But you realize that everything, every single day while you're doing your business, you have all these problems that you got to handle. And there's all this cost that you're going to handle that is unexpected. So even if when you're opening up, even an online store in with Shopee or even with Lazada or even with Zalora, I mean, it's very, very passive as well, because all you can do is wait for someone really look into your store and really hoping that the person will actually click onto the item, click onto the product and click buy. So all you can do is only just waiting for sales only. What do you think, Natalie?
Yes， 我真的非常非常的赞同，感同身受。因为真的传统生意一定是需要库存的。我刚刚不是提到说我父母是做小贩生意的，其实我当时我的家里到处都是水果，到处都是菜，这并不是一个好的现象。所以库存是一定少不了的。刚刚不也是讲说任何的生意资金绝对是非常大的一部分，因为我们就是要把资金投进去，然后买了很多的货，就像刚刚 Jasmine 讲到，然后就等，然后我们拿了货，等顾客拿钱来跟我们换货，然后就一点，而且这中间其实是有风险的，万一顾客不来呢，你的租金是要照付的对呀，然后租金呀、人工啊，包括其实做生意的水电呀，你想不到的支出都是每天在 running， 每天你都是就什么都不做，你是在出钱的。所以说很多的人都说做生意都不是说有做有钱，很可能就是有做还没钱，那你可以想到他每天做的风险有多大。而且作为普通的上班族的我有一个感受，就是我靠着工资我省下来的几万块钱，然后呢我想创业，但是有一个风险，就是我的几万块可能我攒了几年，但是可能马上投进去就血本无归，而且是在很短的时间内。所以这样所以面临着这么大的风险，不是说不想创业，我真的没有胆去创业。尤其是传统的生意，我相信很多人可能真的你有感同身受，也是看到的周围的人并不是说成功的真的是比失败的要来的少。所以我们都看到太多失败的例子，然后自己也非常非常的怕。而且刚刚还有现在说啊，那没关系，我们现在不需要实体店了，我们只要线上就好。像刚刚 Jasmine 也讲到了，我们有 Lazada， 我们有 Shopee， 我们有淘宝，别忘了货还是要有的，你没有货去卖给谁？而且你知道吗？你是需要做网站的，你是需要网页的。而且你知道你的每一个货你放在那边是不需要付钱的吗？不是，你需要给那个平台费用的。所以话说回来，你是不是还是要投入一笔资金，每天还是胆战心惊。然后有句话说，有生意的话那人倒，因为生意太忙人挺不住，那没有生意就店倒，甚至说我们整个生意就慢慢消失了，你只能说真的是哭都没地方啊。但是当然最好的是什么？我们刚刚何常老师提到的这个生意，30块钱可以创业。我觉得如果不是我亲自听到、亲自看到、亲自体会到，我都不敢相信30块可以创业，而且30块我可以拥有自己的网站呢。而且他的网站你如果去看过，你绝对是哇很多的惊喜。而且最重要的，刚刚也提到物流，因为尤其是现在口味对吗？不可能每天去送货的你想送货可能人家还不想收所以真的这个有多好，因为我不需要自己去送货，然后公司有专业的物流公司，然后我朋友订货他直接可以在家等着收货就好了。所以那我自己一个是成本问题，当然还有我的时间问题。所以说这样真的是我都想象不到有这么好的一个平台，然后又不需要我出很大的资金，真的没有理由不是我有什么损失的。而且说万一我可能通过30块我可以改变我的生活，那真是何乐而不为呢？真的是有太多真的难以想象。那讲到这里，我相信 Jasmine 也有很多的感受，对不对？
Yes, indeed. Because any conventional business, like what Natalie has shared, is that you can only reap very high returns only when there is very high risk. But you think again, where else can you be able to find an entrepreneurial opportunity that only needs only $30 and that it is riskless at the end of the day, yet highly rewarding. So this is why this opportunity can be so appealing for anyone to try their hands on. And of course, that is not all to this entrepreneurial opportunity. I like the way how Amway makes entrepreneurship simplified. The Amway entrepreneurial journey is not just about selling of essential products to the consumer only, because it comes with guided mentoring from a community of experienced entrepreneurs who pioneered and succeeded in this business. And this is one of the most significant elements that make me stay on in this business, because I'm certain that I will not be grasping around my way in the business, and every step of the way in this business, right, can be learned and molded from the experienced mentor. So furthermore, Amway is our best collaboration partner, like what Naji actually mentioned just now. In many cases, Amway really takes care of a lot of the challenges that an entrepreneur will face when they do any business on their own out there. For example, Amway takes care of our shipment and logistic. We no longer have to do the delivery all on our own. And there is also inventory management. We don't have to fret about where we have to put our inventory. How much does it cost for the warehouse? How much does it cost? How fast should I replenish the stocks in the city shop? And also the issue of the rental of our very nice city shop that is at the just right opposite Raffles Hotel at Odeon Towers. The rental at such a pristine location. Can you imagine how much that you have to pay if you were the one that is opening the shop there? And also the staffing that is over at the shop. You need your cashiers, you need people to actually deliver the goods to you. All these staffing issues, staffing costs, and also not forgetting the product research and development. Can you imagine we only paid one time the membership fee to join into the business and be a business owner. But every other year, you will realize that the products keep upgrading itself. There is always an improvement in the products that we are selling. And yet at the same time, we just only paid one time fee just to be a business owner in this business. So, and not forgetting that marketing and advertising. We always receive our e-newsgram, right? We always realize that there's also a lot more on their social media, on Amway Singapore Facebook platform. We can actually see that there's a lot more advertising and marketing that is done on their part as well. And also not forgetting the newly upgraded e-commerce platform that is so user-friendly for our consumer to be able to place their order anytime, anywhere. So you realize that actually Amway is a company that constantly upgrades its infrastructure, improve its business operations to make sure that it stays relevant in this ever-changing market. And in this way, I realized one thing: for all these issues have been taken care of, being managed 100% by Amway, I realized that I don't have to worry about the challenges, almost 80 to 90% of the challenges that an entrepreneur will face in a conventional business. And it simplifies the way I can build and manage my own business in this way.
Thank you, Yasmin, and thank you, Natalie, for that sharing. Regarding this simplified version, simplified entrepreneurship, I'm going to stress this all over again. You are not going to start this business alone. I share with you the founders' philosophy, the founders of the Amway philosophy, that you are building a business for yourself, but never by yourself. Amway is effectively my first entrepreneurial venture, and I was able to, achieve some good result only because someone was holding my hands and showing me the ropes in this business. And therefore, I'm a very strong believer that success is not necessarily about how many goods you make, but simply how many mistakes you can avoid. So this mentorship philosophy is very pervasive in the Amway culture, in the Amway business. And because, as what the motto says, it's all about helping people live better life. In our first TED Talk 6 months ago, I told our two co-speakers, Wei Lun and Clara. And again, I told Jasmine and Natalie tonight that my role today is really about taking what I was taught in the business and passing on to you ladies so that you can use them to create your own legacy. But now we have a catch, which is the COVID-19. I also agree that what I've learned about the business in the past may not be all that applicable to what is going to happen as we move forward. So right now, I am a mentor to them, but these young ladies are also mentor to me because we are learning from each other to create an Amway of the future.
谢谢老师，真的，我们听到说经验，我们才是最好的老师。但是传统行业有多难？其实马云不是说嘛，他说创业很难，昨天很难，今天很难，明天可能会好，但是大部分人都死在了今天晚上。所以呢，那最后成功的人就是寥寥无几嘛，然后只能是无奈的回去打工。更何况，其实大部分的上班族他是承担不了失败的成果的，就是万一失败了，你别忘了是万一。很多的时候，万一失败了，我们可不可以接受那个结果？但是在这里就不一样了。我跟着何常老师学习，老师说他有18年的经验，而且是成功的经验，而且在这18年的经验，他愿意教我，还愿意帮我。所以说这样的话，我就节省了我的时间，然后少走弯路啊。就像老师刚刚提到的，他愿意说把他的经验给我，所以这是多么多么的难得。因为我刚刚提到说经验是最好的老师，别忘了经验还是时间。我自己可能不用付出18年内，在我自己深有感受的一点就是，我在过去1年跟着老师学习，已经胜过我自己以前的很多很多年所积累的那一点点人生经验。当然我在这里想传达一点的就是为什么叫简单化，就像老师一直说的，你加入后不是自己单打独斗，而是老师会牵着你的手，然后一起指导你，然后告诉你哪些错误是不用犯的，然后我们就可以走捷径来。因为我们很多人就想成功，然后又想走捷径，那这就是捷径啊，因为老师就把他的经验给我了。所以说你知道我自己觉得有多么多么的荣幸吗？当然当我跟着老师学习，然后老师又愿意教我，那我的速度当然就是最快的。那讲到这里，我们都说最好的就是站在巨人的肩膀上，那么巨人又愿意让我们站在他的肩膀上，那你愿意吗？我相信老师他也一定是可以让你和我们一起学习的，是吗，老师？
Okay, thank you, Natalie. That's exactly what we want to bring out regarding a simplified business model like Amway, because you can learn the ropes from us to jumpstart your business. And the third edge that I want to talk about, which is unique to the Amway business, is that it is a very flexible business model. All right, and then I would like to ask Jasmine to talk about that flexibility.
Yeah. So one reason why I also like about the Amway business is that it does give us the flexibility on how we can go about conducting our business. So like myself, I'm still currently working, but at work I'm usually constrained by the rules of the company. I cannot decide when I want to report for work, when I want to knock off every day. But in Amway, I decide for myself how I want to manage my time in managing the business. And I think the best part is I can do Amway business anytime and anywhere. All I need to do is to be able to share about the products, to share about this business opportunity to whoever that needs it. And in the past, we can only do it in person, face to face, but right now also virtually with live streaming and social media. And we can share a lot more the scope, the exposure that we can reach out to more and more people to learn about this business and also learn about our products as well. And that's how I find that how flexible this business can actually be.
Hey, I just want to add a little bit more to what Jasmine has said about flexibility, because I definitely have some first-hand and personal experience on this. Because when I first started this Amway business 18 years ago, I have a SARS situation. But at the same time, I also have a family commitment situation. I have a full-time job also, and nevertheless, I wanted to do this business as a backup to start with. And so it was not a full-time commitment to start with, okay? So I go to work in the morning, I attend trainings in the evening. I meet prospect. I meet my friends to build the business at night. And this continued for about 18 months. And finally, one fine day, I decided that I want to do this full time. But it was only after 18 months of immersive kind of experience. So the message is this, all right, the situation right now is still very fluid, but we cannot wait. All right, we should try and do something first at such a low risk, at your flexible time. As the saying goes, always prepare for the worst, but always plan for the best. Natalie?
说的太棒了，我真的就觉得这就是我们应该要做的嘛。就像我一开始有提到说，白天我们在上班挑水没有办法，那我晚上的这口井是不是要自己来打造？而且说我在这里学习的是一份永远不会被取代的能力。我刚刚讲了，我很怕我40、50岁的时候被裁，那我有没有能力去应对一个新的工作？但是在这里，我所学的是人际沟通的能力，是让我自己越变越美、越变越健康的能力，是让我可以说现在说直播很有趋势，那我可以说现在也在学怎么做好直播的能力。所以说我可以有一份能力。不分时间地点的限制，我在这里可以做，我回中国也可以，没有时间地点，没有说区域的限制。所以说你说这种多么的灵活，根本不像上班，因为我们上班的每一项技能一定是有曲线的，一定是有局限的。当然也有人说人和人的差别在哪里，我们每个人大部分啦还是朝9晚5在上班，但是差别就在于我们下了班之后的时间到底是用在哪里的。我们可以说选择花下了班之后的时间去吃喝玩乐或者是说我们大部分人在打游戏或者是追韩剧，当然这也可以，但是我可以利用我业余的一些零碎的时间，我来打造我自己的一份事业。然后这份事业还可以永久的，还可以说不仅是今天有，明天也有。我不仅在这里可以，我回家乡一样可以。所以说我这样的时间的花得，我相信才是最值得的，因为是投资在我自己的身上的。而且相信在现在疫情期间，更多的人对这个 flexibility 对时间呀、地点的限制应该更有感受。所以说有这样的一份生意，它没有局限你，那么你还在犹豫什么呢？是吗，老师？
Okay. All right, we have a backup. All right, I'm so sorry. Some of you may not was not able to hear. All right, we have thank you Natalie and Jasmine for that sharing, and then we have come to almost the end of our live streaming tonight. And then we certainly hope that we have inspired one or two things about this Amway opportunity that has actually helped me personally to survive a crisis like a SARS, you know. But before we go, I would like to also add on, you know, what has happened to Amway so far since the COVID started. All right. Interestingly, we are going to launch a very new program called the Amway Privileged Customers starting in January 2021. What a great way to start for a new year, right? What it actually means is that it is allowing me to open up to a brand new segment of market. Do you know how many foreign employment pass holders are there in Singapore? I made a quick check. It was almost 1.5 million. In the past, I was not able to approach these people, you know, as my customers. But right now, starting in 2021, I have the chance to sign up all these 1.4 millions of foreign employment pass holders as my Amway privileged customers. You know, these are fantastic news, and to me, it's like opening new markets for me, and it's only because I'm working with a company like Amway. Okay, and then not only that, at the same time, Amway Singapore has also launched a brand new compensation plan called the Core Plus, which actually trying to reward anybody immediately as long as you join the business right now. Well, I'm not going to say more about this because you can actually find out more about this Core Plus, and I surely would like to meet up with you to discuss this if you are interested to find out how you can immediately make some reward by joining Amway immediately. So thank you so much for your time, and of course, if I can ask our producers to call up the images of Jasmine and Natalie at the same time, we would like to wish you a very good night tonight, and then thank you for joining us for this live streaming this evening. So thank you so much, and then we'll see you next time. All right, bye bye. Thank you. Drop us a comment, please. Thank you. Great.